Alright, hi guys, my name's Charbonneau, and this is my training layout here. As you can see, it's a 3-rail O-scale layout. The dimensions are 29 by 36 feet. I've got 2 main lines. It's all command control. I'm using Lionel Legacy and Trainmaster Command, and I'm also experimenting with some Lunami DCC technology here. And my layout is set in the late 50s, steam to diesel transition era. So as you can see, I model a lot of Penzi. I also have a lot of Eastern steam like C&O and B&O, and a little bit of Michigan represented here with some Pure Marquette. A lot of my structures are scratch built. Many are kits. A lot of them are featuring interiors with my own custom 3D printed parts. And I hope you guys can come see my layout and see what I've been up to down there. This is my engine yard, my engine servicing facility, and it features a Penzi detailed turntable here. This is made by Millhouse River Studios, and it's fully command control. And I have this 4-stall engine house made by Altoona Model Works, custom configured kit with a full detailed interior and everything. And as you can see, here's some of my 3rd rail engines. I have a Decapod, I have a Big 6 sitting over here. I've got a nice M1A and one of their J1As over there. And as you can see, it's a full service steam facility here. And this scratch-built cooling tower is based on the one that still stands today in Durand and Grand Haven. It's a Grand Trunk prototype. Slightly modified to fit the area. It's just a little bit narrower. And it gets tangled up in the garage. It just goes for a ride with it. I put it back on yesterday. But it's so loud. It's pretty easy to show. That engine sounds good just sitting there too. You can change like what kind of air compressor it has on it and everything. It's like pretty wild.
Are these buildings styrene or?
This is like resin. So this is another Altoona Model Works. It's like a custom configured resin kit. So he'll build the length that you want, and like if you want a lean-to machine shop on there, yeah. I had one on the layout before, and it was like maybe like this, you know, only like 3/4 the length of this. So this would be the second time I built one. And I kind of wanted a dead-end shop like that. And but I wanted this machine shop here to be on the front of the layout. This is one of the first, besides the roundhouse, this probably would have been like the second building I really detailed with the interior. I did my own LED lighting and stuff. And so that was a lot of fun. And if you saw over there in the town, I would have built the layout a lot differently if I would have known. I would have gotten into. I would have. If I didn't. I was better at planning, or I just didn't foresee me doing all this 3D printing stuff and then doing the interiors.
Yeah.
I bought the first 3D printer because I wanted to make like these Katie mount adapters for all my engine projects because I have to modify everything. control. You know, it's AC to the track. It's 18 volts AC to the track, and it's controlled through. These are just transformers, fixed voltage transformers, and these are the track power controllers. So in that environment, you know, all the engines have a radio receiver board in them with a Lionel stuff. MTH uses something slightly different. Their signal is actually imposed on the track through their DCS, but I run all Lionel stuff because I like the way their system works. But with this Blue Nami stuff, all I got to do is turn on my track power, and it sits there like any other TMCC or legacy engine until I start running it. And it's pretty nice. So very, very smooth. On top of all the nice sound features and lighting outputs and stuff like that, the control is amazing because it's totally tunable, which you can't do with 3-rail hardware. You know, what you get with 3-rail hardware is kind of what you get. You know, you're gonna install it, you're like, man, is this gonna run good? I hope it does. It's like kind of a short bet if you're hooking up like 3rd-rail stuff. They usually have good gear ratios and stuff, but if you're messing around with something you don't know about, it's strictly experimental. But with this stuff, it's really tunable, you know. Even like the acceleration and deceleration, you didn't have any of that choice with the current tech. And this, when I say current tech, some of the stuff I'm running is like already 20+ years old, you know.
Right.
Yeah, they never, because it's like pretty much proprietary stuff, they probably look at it like, well, if we provide hardware for people to put in engines, we're going to lose new engine sales, you know. We're going to do.
Yeah.
So
No, they must not understand model railroaders.
they really don't. They're kind of an odd. They're such an odd company. It's tough being a 3-railer, you know, because they made, as you can see, they produced all this nice scale hardware that you can buy. I always thought the prices were pretty reasonable for what you're getting. And like I said, they dump it on the layout. You're running like in like 5 minutes flat. You know, if the quality control's okay, but you know, they made all this stuff, but then they still kind of held modelers at arm's length. You know, like yeah, we're not gonna let you tune your motor drivers. We're not gonna let you change sounds. And I think the thing was maybe their reluctance. They didn't want to support, you know, all the
Right. Yeah.
all the stuff that goes with it. Like, hey, you know.
Just want to build it and be done.
Yeah, and I think that's what, you know, the bread and butter is to build it, sell it to you, and you get what you get, you know.
Just in
LEDs. Like machine tools in there are 3D printed, like the lathes and stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
Shelves, that's all done with my resin printer. The little table lamps in there, I did all that stuff with my resin printer. I can move this stuff around too if you want to get different shots. And then now it's like, it's really cheap and they're getting better, you know.
Yep.